Welcome to my channel, people. I'm Double Six. I'm here to help men and boys consume the right content to become more deadly and more dangerous. Today, I'm going to talk to you about feminism and men's rights. I'm going to give you some value in the video and talk to you about some of the rights that I think are being trampled on in this modern day age against feminism. And those rights are interpersonal relationship matters, violence against men, family matters and in the family courts, divorce laws, child maintenance, paternity fraud that uniquely affects men, false R-word charges, and what happens to people that make false allegations. I want to talk to you about these things, so stay tuned on the other side of the video where I get into men's rights versus feminism. I'm not anti-feminist. However, there is a radical movement of feminism that want supremacy over men, that want the female gender emotion to be dominant in society. These are heartbreaking issues that are touching the hearts of men now. But if a man has a child, they'll run him out of the council offices quick and fast. You shouldn't have had the child if you couldn't afford to financially support it. We are ending up feeling like second-class citizens. So welcome back, people. Today I want to talk to you about men's rights versus feminism. I want to talk to you about what I think is the radical feminist movement and how it's affecting men's rights. So briefly, I went over a list of rights that I think men are kind of losing ground in areas against feminism. And I think those areas are interpersonal relationships, violence against men and domestic violence against men, family matters in the family court, divorce laws, child maintenance, paternity laws, false allegations in court, especially the R word is YouTube sensitive, but you can see it in the picture right here beside me. You know, false allegations against men with little repercussions for women that give those false allegations. So today, my talking points are that men have kind of losing ground against feminism. Now, I've done another video on feminism and I looked at the definition of feminism. And the way I see it is that feminism is the right for women to have a choice, the right for women to choose. Now, on the basis of the definition of feminism for women to have that right to choose, I am a feminist. Definition of feminism is just simply the advocacy of women's rights so they can have their own choice. And I am definitely a feminist when it comes to advocating for women to have their own choice. Feminism is simply about women's rights, and I respect that. I get that. I'm fully in support of women's rights. I have a daughter and I want her to thrive in society and do well. And for that to happen, she has to have women's rights and women have to be treated properly. I'm not anti-feminist. I appreciate that the world will benefit from a movement of women in the workplace, out there in social society. I believe that women are productive members of society, and definitely the workplace will benefit from the talent of women within the workplace. Women have a lot to offer, especially in the workplace. Like, one of my trusted staff is female. Like, I think female are the loyalist employees that I can work with, much loyal than men. So I'm definitely advocating for women's rights, especially, you know, the rights and the movement of feminism. However, there is a radical movement of feminism. This is the one that is trampling over men's rights. The radical movement of feminism, I think, is the one that's actually detrimental to, you know, eroding some of men's rights in society. And these are key rights that men need for ourselves to become thriving and productive members of society as well. Let me just go over a few of those laws of, like I said, divorce laws, domestic violence laws in relationships, child maintenance laws, paternity laws, false allegations in court, family court laws are really against men these days. And I think that the radical feminist movement is eroding and walking and trampling over a lot of men's rights. These rights are heartbreaking issues for men. When we're losing custody battles and we're being treated like second-class citizens, these are heartbreaking issues that are touching the hearts of men now, and we're trying to find it hard to thrive in society when we're being treated like second-class citizens. Women need to understand there is a other side to gender equality. They need to understand that there are repercussions to the radical feminist quest to be male dominant, to have a supremacy over men. There are radical feminists that want supremacy over men, that want the female gender emotion to be dominant in society. And there's no working society that has ever thrived where the female emotion is the dominant emotion in society. Masculine energy normally dominates a thriving society in the world. Like, I want you to add in the comment section below and tell me, like, which society has female emotion as the dominant emotion in society, and that is a thriving society that you want to jump on a plane, get your passport and fly over there because that female emotion is just so fantastic that you want to exist in that environment. Like, tell me in the comment section below, please do. So I'm telling you that the feminist quest for supremacy has started to show a negative side in society, and men's rights are eroding as a repercussion of the radical feminist movement. So men are being oppressed in other areas. Now, let me take, for example, a law in America, because a lot of my viewers are in America. So let me touch on laws that are in America, especially to do with a woman and their right to have a child. Now, in every single state in America, as far as I'm aware, women are allowed a certain amount of time to decide if they want to keep a child. So they can birth a child, and in America, in most of the states, they have an allowable time, and I think it's up to a year. So women have like up to a year to decide if they want to take the legal, social and moral responsibility, even financial responsibility of that child, and they have up to 1 year to decide if they want to bear any responsibility to that child. These are big ticket items in society that I have to talk about. This is the big ticket items what the radical feminist movement is creating such a topsy-turvy, uneven section of laws for men's rights versus feminism. Now, back to the script about the law to do with women and whether they can decide if they want to keep their child in the US. Now, I have to say, like, men, we don't have no such laws supporting us. Like, if a man biologically fathers a child, and in some circumstances he can just have that child through marriage, he doesn't even have to be the biological father. He has no way out of his financial and moral obligations to support that child. So men can have a child, father the child, but the CSA is on him and the CMA is on him, and child paternity court and child maintenance is all over him. Like, if a woman wants to run you down to financially support that child, you can't say, I'm gonna take a year, I'm gonna think about it, whether I want the child or whether I don't want the child. But a woman, she can just say, all right, I've had the baby, I don't really want to look after it, here I can just give it up for adoption, I can just give it away to the state and there's no repercussions. The state come looking for you. But I can't just throw my children on the state. A man can't just throw his children on the state. If he's working, if he's doing well for himself, the state is going to be on him because he has his obligations. This is why I just think that the laws are just getting to be so unfair. Like, you take, for example, in the UK, if a woman decides to have a child and she can't afford to have that child, she could go, she can get universal credit, she can get benefits, she can get her rent paid, fully paid, partially paid, she can go on all kind of child benefit, all kind of support that a woman gets if she can't afford to have a child. But if a man has a child, he can't go down to the council office and say, I've had this baby over there and this woman, and I need some help to pay for the child. They'll run him out of the council offices quick and fast. Like, if he was to ever go to any kind of local government agency and say, yeah, can you give me some financial support so I can pay that woman over there for having a child? I'm at the counter. Whoever's there, the government officer will tell him, listen, you shouldn't have had the baby if you couldn't afford to pay for it. You shouldn't have had the child if you couldn't afford to financially support it. You get no assistance from us. You get nothing. So it's like we are ending up feeling like second-class citizens. I want you to comment on this video section below if there are any men out there feeling like second-class citizens. I'm here to help men become more deadly and more dangerous by consuming this kind of content. So I want you to comment in this video section and tell me if you're a man and you're out there feeling like a second-class citizen right now. Men and women are equal human beings. I'm an advocate of this. Like, I want men and women to walk the earth as equal, but right now we as men are feeling like second-class citizens. We're feeling like the radical feminist movement is taking ground. Like, the patriarchy, which is is maybe like the 5% of men that are at the top of the social ladder when it comes to men. Like, they're running society, they're making the laws, they're lobbying the governments, you understand, to create these laws that are really kind of just making the feminist movement push so far. But the other 95% of men, which is, you know, I'm in that category of the 95%, I'm not in the top 5%, we're suffering by the laws that are being made by the top 5%, by the patriarchy. Now, I'm not part of the patriarchy, and most likely if you're watching this video, you're not part of the patriarchy, but the patriarchy is really like being subservient to the radical feminist movement. Like, maybe they've got some kind of guilty conscience for all the money and power that they have, that they feel like they have to appease the radical feminist movement, but in doing so, they're trampling on the majority of men's rights. I'm gonna expand on these topics, men's rights versus feminism, in part 2, so catch me on the next piece of this video, because I want to keep my videos like between 7 to 14 minutes for the YouTube algorithm. So catch me on part 2 of men's rights versus feminism. Look more.